It's the topic everyone seems to have an opinion about, gun control.
The Senate has begun debating legislation over tighter controls. The bill requires background checks for gun buyers on the internet and at gun shows, but does not require those checks in private sales. 10 on your side's Anita Blanton spent the evening getting local reaction to rhetorical shots that keep coming from both sides. Anita?
Absolutely, Tom and Nicole. The Senate rejected Republican efforts to block consideration of gun control legislation. This makes way for weeks of emotional debate. I spoke to Senator Tim Kaine tonight, who has been a leader of gun control efforts, and he says this is a big day. And I also talked with a gun rights advocate who actually says he welcomes this open discussion too.
Oftentimes it appears as though compromise is a dirty word in Washington, but this week it's opened the door to one major debate that has people on both sides fired up.
It will face and there will be amendments. Some amendments will pass and some won't. But the good news is that the American public will not be disappointed.
That depends on how you look at it.
Anything that would prevent a citizen from taking whatever means necessary to protect himself and his family, I think is an infringement.
Ron Lindley has been a member of the Citizens Defense League for nearly 2 decades. He says many of the president's proposals on gun control would be ineffective.
By definition, criminals don't obey the law.
He says there are many misconceptions in the fight for gun rights.
A lot of people really have a misconception that you can go to a gun show and buy a gun, no questions asked, there's no background checks. However, that's not true at all.
But for those like Senator Tim Kaine, who was governor of Virginia at the time of one of the worst mass shootings in history at Virginia Tech, gun control is a commitment that must be kept.
In the aftermath of the shooting at Virginia Tech, I was able to work with my Attorney General Bob McDonnell to fix one piece of our background check system, and that made Virginia safer. But I tried to go further and require background checks at gun shows, and I was not able to get the legislature to do it.
Two of the most controversial aspects of this debate will be bans on assault weapons and limits on high-capacity magazines. Obviously, that stems in large part from the mass shootings like Virginia Tech and most recently Sandy Hook Elementary. Mr. Lilly says he hopes there won't be just an emotional reaction to what's taken place, but a hard, common-sense look at the problem and solutions. In the studio, Anita Blanton, 10 on your side.
And there is a postscript here. The biggest divide on guns is along party lines. 82% of Democrats favor stricter gun laws, while just 27% of Republicans do.